Hi, my name is Heather Turner Loth. I am practice leader for project development and workplace strategy at EUA in Milwaukee. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to kind of share where we've been at with EWL. For the last few months, I've been honored to serve alongside Patty Flowers and Jerry House, as well as the four leaders I'm about to introduce to chart out a course for our emerging women leaders. We were tasked with thinking big, going bold, and involving EWL for the future. So here's a bit of history and where we're at today. What began as an idea of a succession plan for Tempo back in 2016 has now evolved into what the future holds for the next generation of Tempo leaders. In 2016, 40 women launched our Emerging Women Leaders program, and today we stand at more than 300 emerging women leaders. That's amazing. We have learned so much over the last 7 years. We've even experienced a few growing pains, as well as opportunities to build our brand and expand our impact. I want to highlight that when we established EWL in 2016, we were seeking women with 6+ years of professional experience. Today, however, we have a new North Star, and that is developing the future generation of Tempo leaders. This is a subtle yet critical definition which will allow us to advance and evolve our value, benefits, and offerings for women aspiring to be Tempo members. To bring our new North Star into focus, which is, again, developing the future generation of Tempo leaders, we formed an EWL advisory task force to address the following areas. 1, our EWL member profile. 2, professional development opportunities for EWL members. 3, the process for which EWL members rise up to Tempo. And 4, ensuring equity across every aspect of our EWL community. It was a heavy lift with a very aggressive timeline. So we enlisted the leadership of 4 amazing, as well as EWL committee members and our chair and vice chairs to help us achieve our goals. Please help me welcome Amy Clark, Associate Manager at SC Johnson, Dr. Lita Mallet, Director of Teaching and Learning and Principal Manager at Carmen Schools of Science and Technology, Isioma Wambuzer, Associate General Counsel and Assistant Corporate Secretary at Modine Manufacturing Company. And last, but certainly not least, Ebony Lewis, Director, Gender, Identity, and Inclusion at Milwaukee Public Schools.
My name is Amy Clark, and I was in charge of leading the new member profile committee on our EWL task force. We were in charge of coming up with updated recommendations for what our new members should possess as they come in to EWL. So what we wanted to do was make sure that any new EWL members possess the skills, abilities, and aspirations to become future Tempo members. This further aligns to our North Star, and it ensures that EWL is no longer a stopping point, but a stepping stone into Tempo. So what those recommendations look like is that she's going to have 5 to 8 years until she meets our Tempo requirements. This is then supported by our programming committees and our professional development committees, both from EWL and Tempo. This is a change from our original requirement of a minimum of 6 years professional experience. What this helps with is a minimum of 6 years of professional experience could mean 6 years in one role with limited advancement. We want to ensure that we see consistency in her professional career and that she demonstrates the skills and abilities to reach Tempo within the next 5 to 8 years of her career. That means she has a proven trajectory with increasing responsibilities and influence within her company, her community, or her organization. For entrepreneurs or business owners, this means that she can demonstrate growth of business, growth of self, or growth of influence within the business community. We want to make sure that she demonstrates commitment to the community through involvement and leadership in professional or civic organizations. And this involvement is above and beyond what's required of her job responsibilities. We also want to make sure she has a strong letter of support from the nominee's supervisor or the company leader as well as an EWL or Tempo member, indicating that she possesses the ability or that she's on the projected career path into senior executive leadership. We also want to make sure that she takes the time to date EWL. So we're strongly encouraging that she attends at least 2 EWL or Tempo events prior to her nomination. And we also want to make sure that we keep the same biannual nomination process, but that our interviewing looks a little bit different and more in line with Tempo and how they've done it in the past. So we're looking to have stronger letters of recommendations. We want to ensure that this is more of a panel style interview, and that we can confidently ensure that she is on her way to Tempo. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lita Mallet, and I am the chair of the Professional Development Subcommittee of the EWL Advisory Task Force. I am so excited to share with you all the professional development direction that EWL is going towards, and to share with you all the professional development pathways of EWL. These pathways are similar to the Tempo personas, in which all members will identify the pathway and persona that best describes them and where they are currently within their career. In return, specific programming, education, and training will be provided to all EWL members to support them within their different stages of their career and ultimately to support them rise up into Tempo. So let's dig into these pathways. The first pathway or persona is the individual contributor. Now, this is for women who are in junior level positions or who are not yet explicit managers or have direct reports. Some sample skills that would be addressed through professional development would be how to position yourself for what is coming up next, developing your brand, and leading without positional power. The next pathway or persona is the new leader. This is for women who are new to leadership within their organization, are in middle management, or who are not yet in the senior level or executive role within their organization. Some sample skills that will be addressed within this pathway would be how to build your tribe, how to manage change and how to lead your team through change, adaptive leadership, learning how to work with people who are different from you, conflict resolution and crucial conversations, how to figure out what is my leader voice and what is my leader identity. And then lastly, how to spark curiosity and build capacity within your team. The last pathway or persona is the pre-C-suite / executive leader and the new executive leader pathway. This is for women who have been in leadership for some time and are ready to move into a C-suite or senior level position. This is also for women who are new to senior level or executive leadership. Some sample skills that would be addressed in this pathway is how to move from mid-level manager to the C-suite, how to build your brand and showcase your value, finding the entrepreneur within you beyond your current role, how to influence other areas beyond your work stream, and how to go from tactical to strategic. Again, we are very excited about the direction of targeted professional development that EWL is going towards, and we are excited to provide this to all of our members with the ultimate goal of making sure that all of our EWL members rise up to Tempo.
Hi, my name is Isioma Wabuzer, and I've had the privilege of serving as the subcommittee chairman for the EWL Rise Up to Tempo subcommittee. The purpose of this subcommittee was to provide a framework and guidance to support the rise of EWL members into Tempo. To add a bit more color, we wanted to make clear the pathway to Tempo membership for EWL members in response to our annual EWL survey. We wanted to ensure that EWL helps to facilitate that pathway. And almost most importantly, we wanted to make Tempo seem a lot less scary and a lot more fun for EWL's membership. So, what are our recommendations? The first is that candidates must meet the Tempo profile. So that is to say that the Tempo litmus is not changing. All EWL members or non-EWL members will continue to have to meet the Tempo profile. However, in that, the biggest differentiator is the 5+ years of senior executive level or high managerial experience to be considered for Tempo membership. Thus, we are recommending that we focus on having influence and impact. That the focus be on the qualification of a potential Tempo member or a Tempo candidate or nominee, and not the quantification. What does her work look like within her organization? This recommendation appreciates the fact that not all organizations are created equal, and that our EWL membership comes from a variety of professional pathways. We have entrepreneurs with small or no teams. We have members that are in flat organizations who may never or do not have direct reports. We have members who such an opportunity with direct reports or with senior management will arise far later in their careers. And for women of color, that professional trajectory could be extremely further out. So again, the recommendation is to focus on the qualification and not the quantification. Our next recommendation is that when considering EWLers for Tempo membership, that there be a focus on the involvement of that candidate or that nominee within EWL. Now, this is not to say that people should serve in EWL leadership capacities just so they can be considered for Tempo membership. But it is to say that if our membership does not have the opportunity for senior management within their organization, that opportunity does exist within Tempo. And that when you're leading an organization of 300 plus women, you are senior level management. You are managing budgets. You are discussing strategy. And that work, that effort, that contribution should be considered when your application is being considered. Our next recommendation is that EWLers choose a professional pathway, right? And they make a concerted effort within their careers. If you're not getting that development within your organization, if you don't have the opportunity to get that development within your chosen professional career, that you can choose that within EWL, and that you are your best advocate for your own career, and that you are doing the work to advance your skill set and to advance your development within EWL. This also allows for intersection and synergy with our other EWL subcommittees. Community involvement. That's our next recommendation. That again, where our members do not have exposure or access to senior level management for whatever reason within their organization, that the Tempo membership considers a candidate's community involvement. Many of us serve on boards within our community, right? Many of us lead large organizations that have successfully stood in our communities as nonprofits servicing people of southeastern Wisconsin. That is leadership. That is senior management. And we want an intentional focus on that when reviewing potential EWL candidates for membership in Tempo. We also want to put an onus on the one-to-one mentoring relationship. We recognize and appreciate that Tempo members will always be the key to access to Tempo membership and nominations for EWLers. And so there has to be intentional conversations within those relationships, within those networks, within those dynamics, so that nomination of women who are ready for Tempo within EWL are always considered and are always front of mind for Tempo mentors. We're recommending that we move to an annual nomination process that coincides better with the EWL calendar. And we are recommended that EWLers always be provided a process, opportunity, at least once annually, to raise their hand and self-identify that she is ready for Tempo membership. And why is that? That's because women can have a tendency to be coy about their accomplishments and where they are in their career and ultimately self-disqualify. So we want to provide our EWL membership an opportunity to raise their hand and say, hey, I am ready, and put the onus on EWL leadership and Tempo leadership to ensure that we galvanize and that we move that process forward. Thank you, and it's been a pleasure to serve.
Hey, EWL and Tempo family. My name is Ebony Lewis, and by day, I am the director of the Gender and Identity Inclusion Department with Milwaukee Public Schools. I am also the proud founder and CEO of E-Inspires LLC, where I operate as an author of Dear Black Boy, It's Okay to Cry, a mental health advocate, and a DEI champion. And I am here today on behalf of EWL, presenting for the EWL Advisory Task Force as the chair of the Equity and Belonging Subcommittee. And I am so excited to share with you all a few of the recommendations that we came up with as a committee to really move EWL and Tempo forward as an organization staple in this community to really ensure that we're doing some really impactful and intentional work. And so when it comes to equity and belonging, we know that prioritizing EWL as equitable, diverse, and inclusive is so important to honoring the experiences and backgrounds of all of our members and building intentional practices. We want to ensure from an intersectional lens that on all equity priorities, we are reaching our people where they are, that we are honoring who they are, that we are honoring who we are, showing up in very different ways. So we want to really dive deeper into what it means to be inclusive, what it means to be equitable across the board. And so really thinking about that, there are 4 areas that we wanted to highlight as a committee where we really feel like we can make some impactful change. The first being education. We know that EWL, right, is a very great place for us to come and learn. We offer so many great PDs and professional development opportunities, tempo talks, and different events that really draw us in and provide us with a sense of education and awareness. What we want to ensure that we do is look at our educational opportunities from a tiered lens, focusing not just on education, but also awareness and application. How can I take the information that I'm learning here and apply that to my everyday professional and personal lives? Many of us may work in equity departments, or we may run our ERGs at work, so we may have a little more knowledge on certain topics. So how can I ensure that I'm creating an experience that reaches everyone where they are, that gives me some additional language, gives me some additional practices that I can implement in my workplace? So doing that, we know that that will greatly impact our equity and inclusion and our sense of belonging, because it means that we're creating educational opportunities for everyone and not just one person. Next, we want to ensure that DEI is a priority. We want to embed our DEI efforts, create measurable goals, and look through a DEI lens from all areas and aspects of the EWL community. This will include our membership, our programming, our professional development, and our community impact. We have to be intentional that we're really funneling things from top down, and we're not looking from a reactionary but a proactive space. If we are embedding DEI and really looking from that lens in everything we do, then we know that we'll be doing the work well, because we'll always be ahead of the curve in that sense, ensuring that we're serving all of our members where they are and giving them experiences that benefit them and honor who they are. Next, we really want to work on community engagement. That is something that I loved as an EWL member, and now as a Tempo member. Being able to be active, being engaged, that is something that we center and value ourselves on. And so we want to ensure that we're being strategic about creating and curating culturally immersive opportunities which allow for visibility and interaction in the communities that we serve. We want our EWL and Tempo members to be active in diverse communities and in environments and in experiences. And what better way than to curate and create those experiences ourselves, going deeper in our community so that people see us rather than just hear us. And then last, really focusing on our recruitment strategies. How are we building intentional, diverse partnerships in the communities to support EWL and working on member recruitment and retention? We know that equity and belonging are 2 essential pieces to why people will come here and why people will stay here. So we want to ensure that if we're doing everything, if we're centering DEI as a priority and looking from that lens, if we're building those educational opportunities and immersing ourselves into the community in ways that impact community, we will see that our membership will grow vastly, especially from a diverse lens, and we'll be able to retain members because we'll be able to meet them once again where they are, giving them an experience that honors who they are and allows them to feel as if they are heard, they are seen, they are valued, and they belong here as an emerging women's leader. That's what I have for you today. I really can't wait to move all of these initiatives forward. Looking forward to continue to build over the year and really make EWL and Tempo continue to shine as an amazing organization for women to grow, thrive, learn, and be themselves and succeed while making an impact on everyone else around us. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Ebony, Amy, Lita, and Isioma. It was truly an honor to work with all of you. on this exciting opportunity for EWL. I hope you will agree that much work and thought is behind these recommendations. I am excited about the future of EWL. Thank you again to our EWL Advisory Task Force. There's so much to celebrate and look forward to as we continue to develop the future generation of Tempo leaders.